Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on a pretty gloomy, grey and wet Tuesday. Plenty of days remaining to Arsenal return to action. Got to wait all the way until Sunday. That's a bit miserable, isn't it? Always seems to be that way at the moment. On, off the last couple of months have been. But once we get going after this little break, although there is an international break coming up, isn't there? But other than that, football is going to start coming thick and fast between now and the end of the season as Arsenal look, fingers crossed, to try and get themselves into the top four and, more importantly, stay in the top four and qualify for the Champions League. And after yesterday's news of the accounts being released and the figures that we all saw in that I'll go over in this video, you can see why the Champions League is so important for Arsenal, how transformative that will be to the club's finances, and how much of a boost that will be in terms of potentially adding to the squad over the next couple of years, because that Champions League money is going to be very, very important. Thought I'd end this video as well looking a little bit at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's form in Barcelona, and I'm going to kind of contradict myself a little bit in this when I talk about Aubameyang at the end of this, but just wait until the end when I talk about him. In terms of the accounts, look, head over, if you haven't yet, go on Twitter, search for Swiss Ramble after this video, and have a proper look at his thread that he has done. It's absolutely fantastic. It always is. It's the utter business when it comes to explaining football finances in a way that makes, to people like me and potentially people like you, I don't know if you're bang on it when it comes to finances and understanding it all, but he makes it very understandable in a brilliant way. He goes through it all so just much better than I ever could. And please do, once you've seen this video, if you want to find out more about Arsenal's finances and the state of it after yesterday's announcement and the accounts being released, then head over, search, as I said, for Swiss Ramble on Twitter, and you'll understand it far better after reading what he has had to say. So Arsenal, these accounts, we've all known they're coming for a while. We were just waiting for them to be released. We all know it was going to reveal a very, very big loss in excess of 100 million. There was some suggestions it could even be as much as 150 million. That wasn't the case, but it was still an awful lot. So pre-tax loss shot up by 54 million pounds. That's the headline figure, to 127 million. So after tax, that is 107 million. That's what Arsenal lost. And these are the accounts that, these are for last year's, the year ending last year. So it doesn't, it accounts for basically the season behind closed doors, and it doesn't include stuff like last summer's transfer spend on the likes of Ben White and Aaron Ramsdale, people like that. So it's for the last tax year. And so, the pre-tax loss went up 54 million on the previous year to 127 million. That's 107 million after tax. Arsenal's revenue dropped 16 million from 344 million to 328. Profit on players' sale fell massively, 48 million. That's from 60 million down to just 12 million. And that's not really going to improve much following year, because you've only got Joe Willock to add to that. Not great at all. Operating expenses cut 17 million, but bond finances with the break costs it increased from 26 to 40 million. So, look, it just doesn't paint a very good picture, but it is understandable. It's not unexpected, is it? Because of what's gone on with COVID, Arsenal playing all those games behind closed doors, and Arsenal, as we all know, very, very reliant when it comes to money from match day revenue. The Emirates is a bit of a goldmine for them, always has been, which is the idea why it was built. And suddenly having to play a whole season without fans through the door is just, it's crippled the finances. I'll go through a little bit more here. Where is it? So broadcasting revenue actually rose 65 million. That was mainly due to the deferred money from 2019. But here we go. COVID-driven reductions on matchday revenue, it fell 75 million. So Arsenal earned just 4 million from matchday revenue, which is staggering, really. It's fallen by 95%. Commercial went down 6 million as well to 136, because they would have lost an awful lot of money in terms of matchday revenue, again, around commercial deals. So that just shows exactly how important having fans inside the stadium has been. So we're going to see different accounts next year, because you're going to have fans back in the stadium. It's still not going to be great, unless they start to sell players again, because the failure to sell players has been a big hit in Arsenal's finances. That's, as well as matchday revenue, generating money from player sales has been very, very key to Arsenal's accounts, certainly in the last decade, and that money has dried up recently because they haven't sold many players and have been giving them away. In fact, so please do head over to Swiss Ramble and you'll find out lots more of it. I mean, he talks here, I've got some bits from what he had to say here. He said results were hit by 85 million COVID impact. That's what Arsenal have said in terms of the pandemic. It's cost them 85 million in that financial year, mainly due to playing games behind closed doors, reduced commercial income, and the cost of refinancing the debt. As well, because Stan Kroenke and KSC, they kind of refinance the debt, they refinance the stadium bonds, things like that. And so there's the loss included, it says here, 39 million exceptional expenses, and 32 million of that was break fees to refinance the debt. So that's been taken on by KSC now, whereas before the stadium was, they owed money to other people. Now it's all been sort of taken on by the parent company, which of course is KSC. So there has been exceptional expenses in that, but on the whole, because the interest is better, Arsenal aren't paying as much, blah blah blah. So it is big news, there's no doubt about it. Again, my explanation of it is not going to be great, and if you want to find out more about this and really understand it a lot more, get over and read what Swiss Ramble has to say. I mean, Arsenal are painting a positive picture on it. They fully accepted it was going to be a difficult year because of behind closed doors. I mean, they're not alone in this. Lots of clubs have struggled massively on it. I think this is the second highest loss from a Premier League club this season. I think Chelsea lost more when it came to the last financial year during the pandemic. Chelsea lost more than Arsenal, but it's still a big loss. And Arsenal now, they've lost money 3 years in a row, and that's a combined £230 million they've lost in the last 3 years, which is just unbelievable. When you think before that, Arsenal, just made money year after year. I think it was what was it? I wrote it down. 16 consecutive years they were profitable, Arsenal, but now in the last 3 years combined they've lost over £200 million, which is pretty remarkable. And a lot of that is down to COVID in the last year, but before that it was down to lack of player sales. It was like the wage bill, missing out on the Champions League. It's all spiraled, and if they could get themselves back into the Champions League this year, it will make a huge difference. And I think a lot of the work going on, because these accounts don't, the wage bill still, I think the wage bill actually went up in these accounts, but that won't be the case next year. It'll have gone down a lot. They'd have had to have a lot of exceptional expenses put into that though, because they've paid off so many players. So it's just been a couple of years of really trying to reorganise the squad. They've been cutting their losses. They've been getting players out who they haven't been able to afford. But I think certainly from this year onwards, then the wage bill is going to look an awful lot better and an awful lot manageable because of the work they've done over the last couple of years. There's no doubt about it. It's just been really difficult time to do business for Arsenal because of the squad rebuild, because of COVID, everything. It's kind of all come to a head now. But going forward, certainly the work that's gone on for the last couple of years, and when you talk to Arsenal about these accounts and what they think about them, they're the words that they're always telling us. And the sort of briefing that we get is that, look, it's been difficult. We know it's difficult. We anticipated this, but the work we've done now is going to help the club financially in the long term. So, whether that's the case remains to be seen. Certainly, if Arsenal go on and get themselves in the Champions League this season, then the accounts are going to look a hell of a lot better going forward. Because the accounts that we're going to see next year, not even going to have European football. I think Arsenal made about 30 million from the run to the semi-final, which is included in these accounts, but you think the next ones are not going to have any European football, so they're going to miss out on all of that and the extra match day revenue from those European games they missed out on. So they're still not out of the woods yet. I still think next year's accounts are going to be a little bit bleak, so to speak, but the following year, that's when Arsenal hopefully will get themselves back onto an even keel, and we'll start seeing Arsenal post some profit. Because as much as I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will be like, I don't care really how much money they've lost, I just want to see success on the pitch. But I think you got to kind of marry the two together, really. And when you're a club who operates to a self-sustaining model, or certainly have operated to a self-sustaining model, losing £230 million over the last 3 years is far from ideal. And I think that's something Arsenal are going to want to improve on going forward, and they will improve on going forward because of the work they've done in the last couple of years. All right, so away from the confusing thing of club accounts and money and finances. Like I said, get over to read Swiss Ramble's brilliant thread on Twitter that he put out this morning, because he'll explain it far better than me. But just wanted to talk about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, because honestly, I'm getting so many messages about Auba. Every time he scores a goal, and he's scoring plenty of them, fair play to him. He scored 5 in his last 3, I think, now for Barcelona, which is good. I'm happy for him, I really am. But again, as I said at the start of this video, I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit, because I'm talking about Auba, but the reason I'm talking about Auba is because I want to tell people to stop talking about Auba, because it's just really, really boring now. He had to go because of what had gone. He just had to go. It was a move that needed to happen. He needed it. Arsenal needed it. Arteta needed it. And everyone's kind of benefiting from it as well. So I don't get the absolute pile on every time he scores a goal. It's like social media explodes. He's scoring a goal. Auba scored. We should have kept him. Blah, blah, blah. Arteta out. All that. Look. My issue with what happened in the January window wasn't the fact Auba went, it was the fact that Arsenal didn't bring in a replacement. I think that's a mistake. I think Auba had to go because too much had gone on. The relationship had broken down. He wasn't doing it for Arsenal anyway. He'd score, I think, he was barely scoring any goals. He hadn't, I think in his last 40 games, he'd not scored in 25 of them. So this was something that had gone back a long, long time. Something had broken down. The relationship had broken down, whatever. And we weren't getting the best out of Aubameyang. That wasn't going to suddenly change. And so I'm not surprised he's scoring goals at Barcelona. As soon as he went there, I thought he'd score goals for them, because it was just a new lease of life for him. He needed it, and he was going to play in a team where he's going to get chances. And you give Auba chances, he's going to score goals. There's no doubt about it. He's a very good striker. And so I'm not surprised he's scoring, but it's just every time he does score, it's the messages that I get on social media from fans. It's just like, just let it go. Let it go now. He's gone. Arsenal have benefited since Auba went out of the team in December the 7th or whenever it was, after that Everton game, which was his last appearance. From then on, Arsenal's results in the Premier League have been very, very good. I think only Man City or Liverpool have had better results than Arsenal have done. I think only Man City and Liverpool have scored more goals than Arsenal have done in that time in the Premier League since that Everton game. So it's worked for Arsenal as well. They're playing better without Auba. They're scoring more goals without Auba. They're winning more games without Auba. So it's worked for them. And for Auba, it's worked out because he's got a fantastic move to a fantastic club. He's scoring goals. He's enjoying football again. He's playing with a smile on his face again. So it's worked out for him as well. So it just suits all parties. I just think we need to now kind of move on from it, and not every time he scores a goal, or any time he does something better, any time Arsenal don't score or struggle to score, or Lacazette misses a chance, do we have to keep going back to Aubameyang? It's kind of happened now. It's moved on. It's done. Let's just hope Arsenal can go on and achieve what they want to do. Let's hope Auba can go on, score plenty of goals, and have a very good time at Barcelona. Because I think, look, we all love Aubameyang. I loved watching him at Arsenal. He was fantastic. He scored loads of goals. He was great. Played with a smile on his face for most of it. But that relationship had broken down, and it's just time to move on from it now and kind of enjoy the young, vibrant attack that Arsenal have now got. Yes, there is clearly one key ingredient missing, and that is the central striker. I don't think that would have been Aubameyang even if he had stayed. I think even if Arteta would have patched things up with him, Auba would have still been on the bench between now and the end of the season, because he's gone down the Lacazette route. You can bring in terms of bringing everyone else into play. So it's just a case of move on from it now, and wish Auba good luck, but let's move on. Agree with me? Disagree with me? Let me know. Comment in the section below. That's about it from me. Not too much going on at the moment. A little bit of a lull as we gear up towards the weekend's game. Like I said, yesterday's video, we haven't yet got confirmation of Arteta's press conference. I do believe it's going to be on Friday, though. Time-wise, we don't know if it's going to be morning or afternoon, so I'll let you know as soon as I find out. And hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about the injuries to Tomiyasu and whether Smith Rowe will be back or not from his illness, which appears to be COVID, even though Arsenal initially thought it wasn't. It appears it is, but I don't know that for certain. So we'll wait and see, and I'm sure Mikel will confirm that if that is the case. But hopefully, if it was COVID and he was out for last weekend's game, providing he passes the negative test, and there shouldn't really be any reason why Smith Rowe couldn't be involved at the weekend against Brentford anyway. So we'll find out more about that when Mikel speaks to us on Friday. Thanks for watching, everyone. Apologies if this one was me rambling a little bit. I'm not the best when it comes to finances, I have to admit. I struggle to pay for myself and keep this roof over my head, let alone talking about multi-million pound businesses. So get over to Swiss Ramble, as I've said many times. Have a look at what he's had to say if you want to learn a little bit more. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. I'll speak to you soon.